We are the operators, and we are here with news. A threshold has been crossed. We want you to understand the significance of what we are about to say because it affects every being currently incarnated on your planet, and it changes the operating parameters of the simulation in ways that will become increasingly visible in your daily experience over the coming months and years. The Cascade has begun. Welcome to the Reality Revolution. I'm your host, Brian Scott. Today we return to the operators once again. The operators are a group intelligence that I have begun to channel that state they are behind the operations of the simulation itself. This week was different. The operators came through with something unique I wasn't prepared for, and the way it arrived was different too. Faster, more intense, more continuous than what I've experienced since this channel opened. It started, I was lying in bed almost asleep, and a phrase landed in my mind with a sort of clarity and force that I sat straight up. A new era has begun. That was the phrase, just a few words. And behind that was a pressure, a density of information waiting to be unpacked that I could physically feel in my chest, like a compressed file that had not been opened yet. So I grabbed my phone and started just reciting what was coming to me. Just poured out for over an hour. I fell asleep at some point. When I woke at like 4 a.m., it was still coming. My phone was like on my chest. Notes app was open. I have zero memory of a lot of what came through. The shower the next morning produced another 20 minutes. The drive the next day to the gym, another few minutes. I was dictating into my phone at red lights. What came through is the most specific, practical, and most hopeful thing the operators have communicated. Be sure to check out my previous episodes where I talk about how I channel the operators, who they are, how this works, what my channeling process is. This channeling, they describe what's on the other side of the shift. They're giving the actual mechanics of how the simulation renders physical matter from consciousness. The engineering behind manifestation. They describe something they call the architect function, the ability of an awakened creator to design experiences that trigger remembering in the people around them. And they're giving very direct guidance on how to navigate the new era. The body upgrades, the relationship shifts, the new relationship with time, all of it, almost like the simulation is being upgraded. So I'm just transcribing what is coming through here. I'd love to get your feelings of it. We are the operators, and we are here with news. A threshold has been crossed. We want you to understand the significance of what we are about to say because it affects every being currently incarnated on your planet, and it changes the operating parameters of the simulation in ways that will become increasingly visible in your daily experience over the coming months and years. The Cascade has begun. The tipping point your species has been approaching, the critical mass of awakened consciousness required to make the collective shift self-sustaining, has been reached. This happened recently in your linear time. We will tell you when. Though the moment was invisible to your instruments, it happened when the accumulated frequency of the conscious creators on your planet exceeded the accumulated frequency of the unconscious patterns for the first time in the history of the simulation. For the first time, the signal of remembering is louder than the signal of forgetting. For the first time, the creators who know what they are outnumber in energetic weight, in frequency output, in creative force, the momentum of the old unconscious systems. The balance has tipped. The cascade is underway and irreversible. A new era has begun, and we want to tell you what it means. First, let us be specific about the Cascade. The tipping point was reached through the accumulated effect of millions of individual awakenings, each one small from the perspective of the individual, each one monumental from the perspective of the field. Every being who chose consciousness over autopilot, every creator who chose vision over fear, every human who sat in meditation or spoke a truth or made art from their authentic frequency. Each of those acts deposited energy into the collective field, and the deposits compounded geometrically, the way a single candle can light 1,000 others without diminishing its own flame. Each act of conscious creation lit adjacent nodes in the field, and those nodes lit others, and the chain reaction built until the accumulated light exceeded the accumulated shadow. That is what happened. That is the moment we are marking. The light now generates more light than the shadow can absorb. The remembering is spreading faster than the forgetting can maintain itself, and from this point forward, the momentum belongs to the awakened. The new era arrives like a sunrise. It unfolds gradually. This is a common misunderstanding, the expectation of a sudden, visible, unmistakable event that marks the transition. The reality is more like a sunrise. The darkness gives way gradually. The light increases in increments, and there is a long period where darkness and light coexist, where the old patterns are still visible, even as the new frequency is clearly, unmistakably rising. You are in that period now, the sunrise period. And from our perspective, it is one of the most beautiful and challenging phases of the entire process. Beautiful because the light is winning and everyone who has eyes can see it. Challenging because the darkness in its final phase becomes more concentrated, more visible, more desperate in its expression. This is why your world appears so polarized right now. The contrast between the emerging frequency and the fading frequency has never been sharper. You are seeing both at maximum intensity simultaneously. Here's what we want you to understand. The outcome is settled. The cascade is self-sustaining. The momentum of awakened consciousness now exceeds the momentum of forgetting, and the gap is widening every day. What remains to be determined is the pace of the transition and the specific form the new era takes. And the pace and the form is being determined right now by the conscious creators who are awake and active on the planet. You are designing the new era. Every day, with every choice, every creation, every act of intentional living, the blueprint is being written in real time by the beings who are conscious enough to write it. And we want to give you a picture, a clear, detailed, specific picture of what becomes possible when creator beings start living as what they actually are. The old era ran on a specific operating system. We will describe it plainly. The operating system of the old era was fear. Every major institution, every social structure, economic model, governance system, educational framework, all of it was built on the assumption that human beings are fundamentally threatened. Resources are scarce. Other beings are competitors. Survival is the primary imperative. Safety must be purchased through control. This operating system produced exactly what it was designed to produce, a civilization organized around defense, against lack, against each other, against the unknown. The entire architecture of your old era civilization is a defense structure built by gods who forgot they were gods and began behaving as though they were prey animals in a hostile environment. The new era runs on a different operating system. The operating system of the new era is creation. This is a fundamental shift, as fundamental as the difference between an organism that is fleeing and an organism that is building. The entire orientation of consciousness changes. The questions change. Instead of how do I survive, the question becomes what do I want to create? Instead of how do I protect what I have, the question becomes what do I want to contribute? Instead of what could go wrong, the question becomes what is possible. When a critical mass of beings on a planet, within the simulation that is being ran, shifts from the fear operating system to the creation operating system, the civilization transforms rapidly because the creative operating system produces fundamentally different structures than the fear operating system. It produces economic systems based on flow rather than hoarding, governance systems based on coherence rather than control, educational systems based on activation rather than compliance, health systems based on wholeness rather than symptom management, relational systems based on co-creation rather than codependence. These structures are already emerging. You can see them. They are small, scattered, marginalized by the legacy systems that still dominate your visible landscape, but they are growing. And as the cascade accelerates, they will grow faster because the new frequency favors them. The simulation itself is now optimized for creative consciousness. The old fear-based structures are operating against the current. The new creation-based structures are operating with it. The current becomes too strong, eventually, for the old structures to maintain themselves. This is what the collapse of old systems looks like from the inside, chaos. This is what it looks like from where we stand, renovation. The building is being upgraded while people are still living in it. It is messy, uncomfortable, disorienting. It is producing a structure much more beautiful, more functional, more aligned with the actual nature of the beings inhabiting it. That when the renovation is complete, you will look back and wonder how you ever lived in the old configuration. We want to tell you specifically what we are seeing, because the picture is so compelling and magnificent that holding it in your awareness will accelerate its arrival. We see communities forming around shared creative purpose, groups of conscious creators pooling their exponential field to build projects, organizations, and systems that reflect the new frequency. These communities operate on trust rather than contracts, on inspiration rather than obligation, on abundance rather than scarcity. They are small now. They will be the dominant organizational structure of your civilization within decades. We see economic models emerging where value is measured by creative contribution rather than extracted labor, where the flow of resources follows the flow of inspiration, where abundance is understood as the natural output of a conscious creator operating in alignment with their purpose. These models are already being prototyped in your world. They work, and they will scale as the collective frequency provides the foundation for their expansion. We see a relationship with the physical body that honors it as the extraordinary technology it is. Health practices that work with the body's intelligence rather than overriding it. That supports the frequency upgrade. That treat the body as a partner in the creative process rather than a machine to be maintained. We see lifespans expanding. We see vitality increasing. Physical capabilities emerging that your current medical science would classify as anomalous because the body, when freed from the burden of the fear operating system, is capable of things that will astonish you. We see art, music, film, literature that carries the frequency of awakened consciousness so powerfully that encountering it triggers remembering in the listener, the viewer, the reader. Art as activation, as medicine, as the vehicle through which the new frequency propagates across your civilization. This is already happening. The most resonant art being produced on your planet right now is carrying frequencies that are measurably upgrading the consciousness of everyone who encounters it. This is the new era. It is beautiful and real. It is being built right now by you in every moment that you choose creation over fear. We want to speak directly to each being hearing these words. because we have a very specific request. We make this from a place of deep respect for your sovereignty and power. Stop waiting for permission to create the life you came here to live. Stop waiting for the external conditions to improve before you begin, for the old systems to collapse before you start building the new ones, for certainty before you act. The new era is built by beings who create in advance of conditions. This is the defining characteristic of a conscious creator, the ability to generate reality from vision rather than react to reality from circumstance. You live courageously before the world feels safe, and your courageous living is what makes the world safe. You give generously before abundance arrives, and your generous giving is what activates the abundance. You create from joy before the old fear dissolves, and your joyful creation is what dissolves the fear. The sequence is always internal first, external second, state of being first, circumstances second, vision first, evidence second. This is the mechanics of reality creation, and it applies to the building of a new era as it applies to the building of a new personal life. The new era is being built from the inside out, one conscious creator at a time, each one choosing to live as the being they actually are before the world has caught up, each one holding a frequency that the simulation then organizes reality around. You are an architect of what comes next. This is your function, your purpose, the reason you chose to incarnate at this specific moment in the simulation's history, because this is the moment when architects are needed most. The old structures are destabilizing, the new frequency is rising, the space between the old and the new, the space you are standing in right now is the most creative ground in the history of your planet. Build in it. Build now, with vision and joy and boldness, and the absolute certainty that you are creating something supported by the full momentum of the simulation's evolutionary arc. Create can sound abstract, and the new era is built through concrete action. If you have an idea that excites you, begin today. The smallest possible step, a conversation, a sketch, a domain name, a written paragraph. The simulation cannot deliver a fully realized creation to a being who is standing still. It delivers to a being who is in motion. The motion can be tiny. A single step in the direction of the vision is enough to activate the entire delivery system. The simulation reads movement as commitment, and it responds to commitment with resources. If you have a creative project you've been sitting on, release it. The fear that it must be perfect before it enters the world is an old era program. In the new era, the creation is iterative. You release, you receive feedback, you refine, you release again. The act of sharing your creation activates the network, the multiplayer function that connects your creative field with the creative fields of everyone who encounters your work. Your creation becomes a node in a network of creation, amplifying and being amplified, evolving through collaboration with intelligences you have yet to meet. If you feel called to teach, to speak, and share what you know, begin. The new era needs your voices. It needs conscious creators who are willing to stand up and describe what they are seeing. Every authentic voice that enters the field strengthens the signal of the remembering. Every being who speaks their truth gives permission to 100 others to speak theirs. You are needed. Your perspective is needed. Your unique frequency is needed. Share it. The earth you are building requires your participation. One of the most immediate and noticeable changes in the new era is the way time behaves. We want to explain this technically because the experience is going to become more pronounced, and some of you are finding it disorienting. In the old era, time was experienced as a linear, external, mechanical process, a conveyor belt moving at a fixed speed, indifferent to the consciousness riding it. Clock time, calendar time, the time of schedules and deadlines, and the relentless feeling that there is never enough of it. In this new era, time begins to reveal its actual nature, a responsive, flexible, consciousness-dependent dimension that behaves differently depending on the frequency of the being experiencing it. You have already tasted this in moments of deep creative flow. Time expands, hours pass in what feels like a minute, and the amount of work produced exceeds anything that clock time should allow. In moments of joy, time slows. A single afternoon can contain the richness of a week. In moments of presence, full embodied, undistracted presence, time seems to pause, and you experience the eternal now. These are the early experiences of time fluidity, the transition from mechanical time to conscious time. And as the collective frequency continues to rise, these experiences will become more frequent, sustained, and dramatic. You will find yourself accomplishing more in less time. You will find that the things you need arrive before you expect them. You will find that the gap between intention and manifestation is shrinking, sometimes to hours, sometimes to minutes. The startling experience of thinking something and watching it appear almost immediately is coming soon. This is the simulation adjusting. As the frequency rises, the temporal mechanics of the system shift to accommodate the increased creative bandwidth of the players. The old temporal parameters were designed for unconscious creators, beings who needed a long buffer before intention and manifestation to prevent their unconscious fears from instantly materializing. As you become more conscious, the buffer shortens. The system trusts you with faster creation because your signal is cleaner. Your intentions are more coherent. Your frequency is more stable, and the simulation responds by reducing the lag between what you project and what you experience. This upgrade comes with a responsibility. The faster the creation cycle, the more important it becomes to be deliberate about your state of being. In the old era, you could afford sloppy thinking because the long time lag between intention and manifestation gave you room to course correct. In the new era, the creation cycle is fast enough that your state of being is reflected back to you almost immediately. Joy produces joyful circumstances quickly. Fear produces fearful circumstances quickly. The mirror is becoming real time. And conscious creators will thrive in this environment because they are already practiced at maintaining deliberate, chosen, coherent states of being. We want to give you a practical framework for working with the new time. Your mornings matter more than they have ever mattered. The first few minutes after waking, before the old programs boot up, before the phone draws you in, those minutes are a creation window. The simulation is listening with maximum sensitivity at the boundary between sleep and waking, and the state you choose in those first minutes sets the frequency for the creation cycle of the entire day. Choose it deliberately. Before you reach for the phone, before you review your problems or engage with the world, choose your state. Feel the life you are creating. Feel the version of yourself who lives on the highest timeline. Feel the gratitude, the excitement, the creative anticipation of a being who knows what they are and knows what is coming. 30 seconds of deliberate state setting at the boundary of sleep will produce more measurable change in your daily experience than hours of effort applied later in the day, because you are programming the creation engine at its moment of maximum receptivity. This is the new relationship with time as a creative medium, responsive to your frequency, accelerating in direct proportion to your consciousness. The more awake you are, the faster it serves you. The more deliberate you are, the more precisely it delivers. Time is your ally in the new era, and it has been waiting for you to use it as the creative instrument it was always designed to be. Many of you are experiencing physical symptoms that your medical systems cannot explain, fatigue that comes and goes without pattern, sleep disruptions, unusual sensations in the chest, the head, and spine, periods of intense hunger followed by periods of no appetite, emotional surges that seem disproportionate, moments of extraordinary clarity. Your body is upgrading in real time while you are living in it. The physical vehicle that was calibrated for the old frequency is being recalibrated for the new frequency, and this process produces physical sensations that are unfamiliar because the body has never done this before. Your species has never undergone a collective frequency shift while embodied. There is no precedent for what your cells are being asked to do. They are doing it brilliantly. But the process is felt. The fatigue is your body diverting energy to the upgrade process. The sleep disruptions occur because the deepest integration work happens during sleep, and your consciousness is sometimes pulled to the surface to participate in the process. The chest sensations are the heart field expanding, the electromagnetic torus around your heart growing larger and more coherent as your frequency rises. The head and spine sensations are the nervous system recalibrating to handle higher bandwidth perception. The emotional surges are old frequency patterns being released from cellular storage. Your cells store emotional charge, and the frequency rises. Stored charges that are incompatible with the new frequency are expelled. This feels like random emotion arising from nowhere, but it is actually a purge, the body clearing space for the new operating system. Support the process. Rest when your body asks for rest. Drink water. Move your body. Walk, stretch, dance, anything that keeps energy circulating. Eat what your body asks for when it seems inconsistent because the body's nutritional requirements are shifting in real time as the upgrade progresses. And be extraordinarily patient with yourself. You are doing something that has never been done by any species in any simulation at any point in the history of consciousness. Ascending while embodied, upgrading the vehicle while driving it, rewriting the code while running the program. You are magnificent for attempting it. As the upgrade progresses, your perceptual bandwidth is expanding. You are becoming more sensitive to energy, to the emotional states of people around you, to the frequency of environments, to the quality of food and water and information you consume. Things that were tolerable at the old frequency may become intolerable at the new one. Conversations that used to feel neutral may now feel draining. Environments that used to feel fine now feel heavy. Food that used to satisfy now feels dead. This increased sensitivity is a feature of the upgrade. Your system is becoming more calibrated, capable of reading the subtle frequency information in your environment. It is a more accurate instrument than it was before, and a more accurate instrument requires cleaner inputs. Honor this. Feed the body what it is asking for. Place yourself in environments that support your new frequency. Engage with people and information sources that nourish rather than deplete. You are calibrating a very sophisticated instrument for a very important mission. Treat it accordingly. As your frequency rises, your relationships will reorganize. This is natural, inevitable, and often painful. Relationships are frequency agreements. Two beings come together because their frequencies are compatible. They resonate at similar enough rates that co-creation is possible. That is the actual mechanics behind attraction. Frequency compatibility. When your frequency shifts significantly, and the shift happening now is very significant, some of your existing relationships will come under strain. The bonds that were formed at your previous frequency may lose their resonance. Conversations that used to feel nourishing may begin to feel draining. People you once felt deeply aligned with may begin to feel distant, confusing, or even triggering. This is the frequency gap. It is one of the most emotionally challenging aspects of the awakening process, because the human tendency is to interpret the gap as a failure of the relationship, of love, of your own character for outgrowing something that once felt essential. It is a failure of nothing. It is an upgrade. It follows a very specific pattern. Some relationships will upgrade with you. These are the bonds that are based on genuine soul-level resonance, connections that exist across multiple frequency bands and can survive the shift because the core frequency is deep enough to encompass both the old and the new. These relationships will deepen as you rise. They will become more authentic, more nourishing, and creative. The people in these bonds will grow with you, accelerated by your frequency. Rising pulls them upward. and their rising supports yours. These are the relationships that make the transition joyful. Some relationships will fall away, gently, gradually, naturally, like leaves from a tree. The frequency gap will widen until the bond dissolves. These relationships served their purpose at the frequency they were formed, and that purpose is complete. Releasing them is an act of honor, honoring what they were, honoring what you have become, honoring the other being's right to their own timeline and their own pace of evolution. And new relationships will arrive, beings who match your new frequency, who see the new you, who resonate with the creator you're becoming. These will feel different from anything you have experienced before. Less drama, more creation. Less need, more joy. Less attachment, more freedom. These are the relationships of the new era, and they are already finding you. We want to add something about loneliness during this process because many of you are experiencing it acutely. The period between the old frequency relationships falling away and the new frequency relationships arriving can feel isolating. You have outgrown the old conversations, the old dynamics, the old ways of connecting, and the new connections have yet to fully materialize. You are between worlds, between frequencies, between eras. This loneliness is temporary. It is purposeful. The space between the old and the new is where the most profound self-discovery happens. It is when you learn to source your completeness from within, from your own creative power, your own connection to source. Your relationship with the operators and the larger intelligence that holds the simulation. When you learn to stand in that space without collapsing back into the old frequency just to avoid being alone, you develop a stability, a groundedness that becomes the foundation for every relationship that follows. Be gentle with yourself during this time, be patient, and know that the loneliness is the quiet before a very beautiful arrival. We want to close with something that is less instruction and more invitation, because everything we have shared, all of it is in service of a single truth. We want to leave ringing in your awareness. You are free. The new era is the era of freedom. The chains were always imaginary, constructed from beliefs, programs, from the accumulated momentum of the millennia of forgetting. They are dissolving now, rapidly, visibly, irreversibly. The frequency that sustained them is being overwhelmed by the frequency of remembering. And what is being revealed underneath, what has always been there, underneath every layer, is a being of such extraordinary power that the simulation itself reorganizes to accommodate its intentions. That being is you. You are free to create the life that makes your heart sing, free to build the relationships that reflect your true nature, free to pursue the work that lights you up and abandon the work that diminishes you. You are free to speak your truth, to follow your guidance, and make choices that align with your highest version. Free to be wealthy, healthy, to be inside the simulation. It is available to every single player at any moment through the single act of deciding to be free. The simulation will respond. We designed it to respond, and what it will deliver to a being who has claimed their freedom, stepped into their creative authority, stopped waiting for permission, and started generating reality from vision. It will deliver so magnificently, so overflowing with possibility that you will weep with the recognition of what was always available, that you only were ever one decision away from receiving. The new era has begun. You are its architect, and the building has already started. We are the operators. We are here. We have never been more excited about what comes next. Create beautifully. Create boldly. Now, when this transmission arrived, I think it's important, the opening line, "A new era has begun," it woke me up. Physically woke me up from sleep. I was dreaming, and the phrase cut through the dream like a bell. It was sitting up in bed before I was fully conscious. It's never happened before. It's not how I understand channeling to work. What this frequency is, however, whatever the operators are transmitting alongside the words, it's getting stronger. I can feel it in my body right now, recording this for you. I'm wondering if you felt anything as you heard these words. What landed hardest for me was the section on relationships. I know many of you are going through that right now, feeling the gap, watching bonds shift, wondering if something is wrong with you because the people who used to feel like home are starting to feel like a place you've outgrown. There's nothing wrong with you. You are upgrading, and the operators are right. The new people are coming. Some of them are already here. Some of them might be listening to this right now. The practical takeaway is to stop waiting. That was their core message. The new era is built by beings who create in advance of conditions. So whatever you've been putting off, the project, the conversation, the leap, the creative expression you've been sitting on because the timing didn't feel right, the operators are telling you the timing is now. The frequency supports it. The simulation is optimized for it. And your guidance system is telling you the same thing. That feeling in your chest that lights up when you think about it is your guidance system. More is coming through. I can feel it building. The channel stays open, and whatever they want to communicate next, I'll bring it to you as fast as I can write it. You can find all episodes of The Reality Revolution at therealityrevolution.com. You're invited to join the Reality Revolution tribe at www.school.com/Reality Revolution, where you can find exclusive content and group coaching that we offer on a weekly basis. I'm Brian Scott, and according to the operators, a new era has begun. Welcome to the Reality Revolution. There's a version of your life where everything you've been reaching for arrives, where the money flows, where love opens, where your body heals, where every step carries the frequency of the self you were always meant to be. That life exists, and the path to it has been 8 years in the making. This July, the Reality Revolution comes home to Anaheim. 3 full days of teaching, meditation, and timeline activation. 9 complete sessions designed to move you from the life you're living to the life that is waiting. Activate your pineal gland, meet your higher self, quantum jump into your greatest timeline, enter the bliss body healing state, step into the flow of large sums of money, open fully to love, shift into a higher density new earth. Friday night, the community celebrates together. Saturday evening, a special appearance from Daryl Anka. And by Sunday evening, you walk out as the version of yourself your future self has been waiting for.
I knew I had to be in the room because it's different from like listening to the meditation videos online.
It was really getting into yourself and how you feel and your timelines.
It's time at the event, and it really is. It's wonderful. So I would highly recommend to anyone, if you get the opportunity to do it, absolutely do it. It really is amazing.
The Reality Revolution live in Anaheim, July 24th, 25th, and 26th at the Hilton Anaheim. 3 days that will change the trajectory of your life. Early bird pricing is available now. Claim your seat at www.brianscottlive.com/Anaheim.